Okay, I think it's working again. Yeah, my hand's there. Okay, welcome back. Sorry for the technical difficulties. I don't know what's up with my camera these days, but it's being junky. It's so weird because it's clearly the software that comes with it, the webcam software. Like the camera itself is still functioning. It just like the software cuts out on it or something. I don't know. But I'm back. So you didn't miss much. I just did these two little lines up here. But essentially I'm going to put lines like that throughout all of the cloud areas. So how was your day? My day was good. My day was good. Your day was chill, just played a lot of Zelda. Nice. Very nice. Oh, let me bring myself up before I start painting. I'm here. Please, please don't fuck up. I can only hope that it doesn't keep repeating this problem. There's a lot of curly lines in this, a lot of like flowy lines and things like that. I got some stuff kind of lightly sketched, following like a moderate plan here. Ooh, Snake Man. Yeah, I don't know what's up with my camera. It was so good for so long, but now it's like kind of becoming a hindrance. And this cam is like relatively new. Who did you sell the orange painting to? The one with the Imperial vibes? I sold that one to Twitch user Warmer Climbs. The one with like the pagoda and stuff. No, Kirsty just really likes that one. Kirsty has that set as her phone background, I think. Anyway, hopefully this doesn't look bad when I'm all done with it. Hopefully I don't hate it, because if I hate it, there's kind of nothing I can do about it. So, here's hoping. So hard for me to see some of these lines that I did. Your room's in a place where you would put Pink's painting if you had one. Oh, maybe one day. Maybe. Love being strong enough to go on a guardian hunt where you just take a bunch of guardians for fun. I know, once you have the master sword and you can just like take off their limbs, they're so easy. flipped one over and it can't get up. Nice. Ooh, I'm gonna be tired of painting lines after tonight. Ooh, this is this person's #1 Mega Man song, according to their list. Dr. Wily Stage 1. It is a good one. From Mega Man 2. Enjoy the lurk, Bacchus. Thank you. This is quintessential Mega Man. Whenever you mess up a painting, you think about throwing away, you remember these likes. There's no accidents from Master Oogway and Bob Ross. I mean, there are accidents. It depends on your style of painting. It can generally be fixed in pretty much all cases, but there are indeed accidents in painting. At least the way I paint. Like, if I smear something that's not meant to be smeared and I don't have like a color to go over it or fix it, then it's like kind of obvious that it's a fuck up. You know? Mixed black and green and turned your painting into a scenery of a trash can. I mean, yeah. I could definitely pivot. And sometimes, you know, that can happen where a change occurs naturally and just ends up being better for the piece. We'll see how these come out, you know. Hey, Wary. Yeah, we were listening to a person's top 50 8-bit Mega Man songs. That was actually their #1, so it's about to change over to Donkey Kong music, looks like, and for some reason it's just dropping itself in the middle of the video. Typical YouTube. 8-bit core. Breakfast for you. Enjoy your breakfast, Jacina. Hope it's delicious. If I can get through these top areas, the rest of the painting won't be bad. These feel kind of harder to do because they're so far away, having to like extend to reach. And I feel like I'm not getting a good viewpoint on them. I think I like that though, I guess. I don't know. It looks kind of sloppy, but there's like some order to it and some just like chaotic randomness to it. I should have gone with more wavy lines, but we'll see. If I hate it, it's not like it's permanent. I could redo the whole thing. I don't want to, but I would if I hated it enough. All right. Up next, another swirl. Right, I feel like I'm knocking this stuff out, so this is good. Kind of feeling like this side's a little, like I think I did better on this side when sketching it than this side. Side's feeling a little messy. You love this track? The minecart madness? I should get more music, but I don't know. Honestly, my exposure to video game music is kind of limited, I'm not gonna lie. All right. All right. I think I can live with the way it looks. I'm not in love with it, but I can live with it. I think I should have followed more along this vein where it's like glowy and then goes into a swirl at the top instead of filling it with these random swirl shapes and cloudy puffs and things like that. But I'm going to see it through. I'm going to go all the way through and see how it looks when it's all filled in. Maybe I'll fill differently when it's all in, you know. It's possible. Most of the time I can tell if I'm gonna like it within the first couple minutes of painting that step, but I'm gonna see it through. Oh my god, there's so much glare I can't see. Ooh, that was a lot of that color. That was a lot of that. Hey, Gret. How's it going? Oh my god. A mistake. Oh, that paint's dry. Just need something to darken it a smidge. Not a bunch, just a teeny tiny little bit. The width of that line got out of hand real fast. I'm drunk and not wine drunk. Hard liquor drunk. Hell yeah. Sounds like a great night off. Blues and purples with a splash of red. I love it too. Honestly, this is probably the best thing I've done so far. We'll see though. I'm reserving my final judgment until it's done, but I do love it. Having trouble keeping these lines thin and wispy though. That is definitely happening right now. I feel like the clouds are a little messy, but it'll be alright. I'll get through this. Oh, thank you. It's all just like a guessing game for me, it seems like most of the time. I don't know how to make this area look alright though. I am Animal Crossing's premier. Actually, no, I can't say that. I've seen much cuter stuff on Instagram than what I come up with. There's really cute stuff out there. One of Animal Crossing's great designers. I think it's just the vibe of the town. Just carry that level of detail into everything. The obsessive quality of my work is the driving force. And that is the tea. I thought it was going to be easier to do these sections that are closer to me rather than up there, but I'm having a harder time with these. In the bath. Yeah. Don't drop the phone in the water. 21st century tragedy in the making. Sounds good. I'll see you in a bit. Do I? Oh. I think I still have some of these colors ready. Not really. Nope. They're part of the dried out ones here. Bummer. Because I can definitely see where I attempted to cover that. All right, that actually looks a little better. All right. Light bit of whitewashing over this moderate purple that I have seems to be the closest way to color match some of these shades. Hey, Jacina, welcome back. Hope breakfast was tasty. I'm getting through these lines actually a little quicker than I thought I would. What music is this? This is from Donkey Kong games. Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3. I think there's like some remixes in there. There's probably a couple from Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze and stuff too. All right. I really hope this looks better when I'm all done with it. And I'm not so critical of it. Because right now, I'm hating it a little bit. I'll just have to deal. Reminds you of a rainy day with sun on the beach. I could see that. I think that is the world map music on the first game, if I remember correctly. That last track. Did you hear the Sanrio? Oh no, I didn't know the characters actually were brought in. Oh, cool. Well, that gives me hope. What about all their furniture? That's the real question. What about all that furniture? Oh shit. Okay, well that's giving me a lot of hope for the future of New Horizons, just hearing that little tidbit. Ooh, that's kind of exciting. maybe year 2 will be better than year 1. This song's so good, the playlist, they wanted to have it on the playlist twice. All right. Do you ever sort of think the old games like Mega Man, Digimon, Pokemon, and other 90s games were updated? I mean, I feel like they did update Pokemon, right? I mean, the last Pokemon was essentially like old school Pokemon with just better graphics. And Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze is maybe one of the best 2D platformers of all time. And that came out on the Wii U. Oh, like more bosses? I don't know. I think for like at that point you might as well just release like a new game, you know? Just release a sequel. You're going to add like a whole new level with new bosses and shit. I feel like that's a better use of rather than just like piling onto an old game. I mean like the actual game. I don't know, at some point games just the demand to play it just kind of fizzles away naturally, so there's like not much of a point in continuing support for like really old games because they just kind of go through a life cycle. I mean, of course, some continued support's great, but like I don't see much of a point in going back to say Zelda 1 on the NES and adding like a whole new dungeon in it. I'd rather see them put that energy into like a whole new Zelda 1 game. Like at some point, no matter how much you update a game, support for it just dies, no matter what. No matter how continued and devoted your support is to that game. I think most games are probably at like this point in time most games are probably going to get like 2 to 3 years of support before they're basically like done, wrapped, and the community's moved on to something new. All right, this area is really messy, but this one actually looks pretty good. Like this one I feel like actually makes a lot more sense. But these two, I think I kind of fucked them up. They don't look as good. This looks okay. Seems like the more I kind of work in wavy curved lines and less swirls and cloudy shapes, the better. Yeah, this one's fucked up. I can't really fix that though. Unless I commit to fixing everything. Probably not gonna happen. Almost done with about a third of the clouds. Okay. So far, so good. I don't know. I'm very on the fence right now. Hey, Kid Knives. Welcome to your painting stream. I know you said I shouldn't do the cloud details, but I had to. My brain wouldn't give it up. And right now I'm a little mixed on them. We'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. I'm thinking if I don't like them in white, I might go back and like just redo them with a darker color with some of the white kind of peeking through. And just like double line it. We'll see. Ooh, almost had a water droplet. Okay. Kid Knives, I hope your post-birthday day was better. Or I don't know if you streamed today. I slept actually really late today, but if you did, I hope you didn't get any dropped frames. Right. Favorite outfit in Breath of the Wild? I think the climbing gear is probably one of the cooler looking ones, and it's like the most functionally useful. So I'd probably say that. What about yours? The glow-in-the-dark skeleton outfit's pretty cool. I'm trying to think of other things you can like mix and match in that are neat. Separates. Yeah, I should have kept more with the wavy lines. That's what looks better. The Hylian hood with the champion's tunic and Hylian pants. Oh yeah, the Hylian stuff's the really strappy stuff, isn't it? Like super strappy. Would like the Zora outfit if the helm and pants look better. Trying to picture the Zora outfit. It's like navy with silver or something. Got a vague picture in my head. I like the Sheikah armor is pretty cool too. I don't know, I was never one to mix and match a bunch in that game because the benefits from wearing like a full set are just too good to pass up. In my opinion. It's hard to justify. Let's see. Okay, yeah. Yeah. I'd say the shirt armor piece is definitely the best part of that outfit. I got all the Mario stuff and Shamrock things from Cass yesterday. Yeah, the new stuff looks really cute. Spent a little bit of today expanding the final house and getting it all the way to the basement. But I haven't committed to getting all of the furniture and stuff yet. I wonder how Nintendo intends for us to unlock it. That's my big question. What kind of ridiculous event are we gonna have to endure? I agree. Treasure Islands are amazing. They've been around, but I think they've really like stepped up in the post Christmas season. Definitely. Hey, Tom. You're up early today. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. I'm a little scared my cloud details are gonna look like shit. Hoping for more, actually. So far, new items are major. So yeah, some of the New Year's Eve, whatever stuff they put in is really cute. Gives me hope. Really does give me a lot of hope. Hope you're doing all well as well. I don't know. Probably could have kept all these lines way simpler. I'm like kind of overthinking it, I think. I think I'm just gonna have to go back in and fill in areas with more fluid looking lines. Commit to that a bit more. Once I get all this stuff filled in, I'm gonna like do a second pass, I think. Posted some of the new stuff on Discord. Hey. Hmm. I need to stir this. The Crystal Caves. Aren't pipes just the best? That is definitely like probably the coolest item that's been added to an Animal Crossing game so far. Like they actually have a purpose. Wild. So happy with the pipes. Oof, that part of the paint is rough. Hmm. Looking good, thank you. I don't know, I'm feeling a little indifferent about all these swirl details that I'm doing. Like I'm not totally feeling it, I'll be honest. Like now that that's all filled in, it does look better, but I still don't love it. Oh, you meant, oh, me? I'm not looking that good. I gotta go to the gym this morning. 5 a.m. gym run. Whenever I finish the stream. I didn't go last night because I was kind of sore from the day before. So I said, nah, forget it. Hey, Gret, welcome back. Enjoy the lurk. Do your thing. Like if I just added more of these wavy lines and less of the swirls and cloudy shapes, like this area looks good. I think this area looks good. These areas are messy to me. And a lot of it has to do with the cloudy lines that I'm putting in instead of waves and swirls. Like this one's barely any of those like cut up cloudy lines. This banjo music, this is still Donkey Kong. I think it's still in the Donkey Kong video. But I don't recognize it, to be honest. This is looking great. Thank you, Peach. I'm feeling a little blah about the lines I'm doing right now, but I'm trying not to like get in my head. Trying to just be like, yeah, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Don't overthink it, it's fine. It's fine. But I'm a little like panicked inside. Like, did I just fuck up 20 hours worth of work? I maybe? I don't know. I think it's, if I did, it's still salvageable. I'm just gonna have to be very like particular about where I add in lines to make it flow a bit better. But yeah, my internal monologue right now is a mess. I'm not even gonna lie, it is crazy town in my brain right now. But I persevere. I'm not giving up hope on the work yet. Yeah, no, I think another pass through with a bunch of like wavy lines will be fine. And then it'll probably read better. But I want more waviness in these areas that are like in the center of the clouds. Like this one looks great. This is what I was actually going for, this area. This is what I kind of came up with. This one actually looks okay-ish. A lot of swirls in the middle. I meant to kind of break it up with more curvy lines, but we're in the overthinking, overwrought stage. Switching to Animal Crossing. Oh yeah. Had enough of Zelda for tonight. Yeah, at least Breath of the Wild got a lot done. Nice. Couple of shrines. Some clothing dyeing. Some side quests. Right? Got me back into Animal Crossing since the last time you were here. Did my town inspire you? I'm honored. If so, I made my final building and got it paid off today. I love to hear someone back into Animal Crossing. The game needs life, freshness. It needs a dose of new energy, for sure. I know you said back into, but still, new energy. Found some motivation to decorate your house. 3 to 5 rooms done. I think once you get into like the interior decorating thing, it starts to feel better, but like it's kind of boring and daunting at first. Like when I started doing all the interiors of the buildings, I was like, this is boring. I'm going to hate it. But then it kind of, I was having more fun with it than decorating outside after a little bit. Going for your goal of getting all villager photos. A lot of mile tasks, but they're kind of my favorite thing to do in the game. The photos is a great, like, once you get your 10 in that you just love and adore, like, getting the 10 photos is a great end game goal. Like, once you get that, you can kind of chill. Even if you don't have everything decorated, it's just like a nice little milestone to set for yourself. And it feels so good when they give it to you. The snow is finally gone. It is. I'm slightly sad about it just because I know my town looks the best in the snow. But it is time for a change. For sure. I'm trying denser lines on this area to see how I like it. I mean, obviously I'm going with it because I've just now committed to it. But wanted to put them in there, see how I like it. And I do like it better for sure. Your town looks better without it. You're so happy the snow's gone too. Been loving the snow. The snow texture with like the little shininess in the snow, I think is definitely the prettiest. Personally, it's my favorite as well. Just something about it that's fits the game for me. All right, so for this to look good, it just needs quadruple the amount of line work, is what I've decided. So basically what I put down on the right side is just like a third of what I need to do. So here we fucking go. I should have known. I would create more work for myself. It was bound to happen, you know? Truly, it was inevitable. In real life, you love the snow, and in Animal Crossing, we were very happy the first week. But at some point, you need green. That's true. That is very true. Sad is real. I'm just kind of blah all year round because I just stay inside all the time. Can't wait to have more insects. That's true, the insects. Always my favorite part of summer in the game was like the cicadas or whatever, the noises they make when you walk by them in the old games. So charming. Oh, apparently they released a trailer for the new season of Handmaid's Tale today. And it's starting in like late April. I actually started rewatching it like 2 weeks ago because I figured it was gonna come out soonish, but I didn't realize it would be in like 2 months. The show is so fucking crazy. You haven't watched past season 2, you need to get back into it. I mean, there is always a little bit of suspension of disbelief or whatever for some of the things that just happen. You got to be like, okay, so this is the main character. They obviously can't die, but I still really like it. What, this is going to be the 4th season. It got delayed because of COVID. It was supposed to come out, I guess, probably like mid to late last year, but they had to basically postpone the whole thing. Just such a twisted show. Yeah, like I think season 3 came out in 2019. But it is it's a hard show to watch, you know. You can only watch it. It's actually like, for I guess what you would call like a binge drama at this point. It's honestly incredibly hard to binge because the subject material is so fucking kind of depraved. Yeah, it's extremely heavy. I'm always curious about what's going to happen more than being disturbed. Yeah, I agree. I just find the premise kind of like riveting, I guess. It would be the word. I don't know. Yeah, the first season in particular was like kind of veering into like day horror vibes. Like just really kind of gross. Gotta get going. All right, Peach. Take care. Thanks for popping in and saying hey and hanging out. Hope you have a good night. All right. Your first day without snow, you got rain. Nice. The grass is so like grayish brown on the first couple days. It's not much prettier than snow. Actually, it's worse looking than snow, in my opinion. Whoop, that was a bad line. Hey, Fuke. Welcome. Alright, so I'm basically treating these first lines as guidelines for the filler lines. Now it's making more sense. Now I'm less distressed. I'm still not totally in love with it, but I like it better now. Gonna hang here till you fall asleep? Nice. You'll be asleep in no time. We got some Donkey Kong music wrapping up here. Then it's gonna be, I think Metroid music is next. Yeah, I'm gonna... Oh yeah, this is like almost over. You'd see if you can still beat Super Metroid. It is a hard game. When I watch people speedrun that, I am just blown away by how effortless they make it look. It's crazy. It is such a hard game. Definitely like one of my favorite speedruns to watch. Can't be any harder than Donkey Kong Country. You think so? Really? I mean, I guess Donkey Kong Country is pretty hard too, but that's basically just like jump on and avoid enemies. Metroid's got like shooting, item changing, got way more like powers to manage and okay. Okay, this is making so much more sense. I was super stressed. But now it makes sense. I'm definitely going to be working on these lines all night. Now that I'm adding this many, it's a for sure. For sure thing. Ooh, that was a huge chunk of paint. No, no, no. I gotta be not afraid to connect lines too. Like if they feel like they should connect, I should just connect them. And not overthink it too much. Like there was a line I just did. Where did I put that? Ah. I am so happy for you. Congrats. It only took you 2 months. Only 2 months. At least you got it done before the end of February. I'm proud of you. Kid knives, I'll take a sip. Let me just get that in there. All right. This is how it should look. This is how it looked. I think if I had done it this way throughout the whole thing, I wouldn't have had to go overboard like this. But because this side looks so sloppy, I have to kind of overcompensate a little bit. And thank you for the smoke-free encouragement as well. Every day is a success. All right, I'm gonna let that side dry just so I don't smear anything. And then I'll come back and do those little top cloud areas. So I guess we're gonna work back on this side for a little bit. Pop my knuckles. Wallpaper still gives me winter vibes without the tree. Not so bad. I mean, it's still cold. You could probably keep it up for like all of March and maybe a little bit of April if you really wanted to. All right, I think I'm gonna need a little bit more. How's this white paint doing? Actually, it's fine. Okay. So now we have to repeat process on this side. I'm gonna add way more line work. And not with huge chunks of paint, preferably. Oh my god. Okay, I got it. Delicate. You leave it for February only? Fair. Oh my god, I just created so much more work for myself. About to get ridiculous. Right? This has potential now. Just took me a minute to see it, I guess. But that is kind of what I was envisioning in my head. Slightly. But a little simplified, because I don't think I didn't shape. I should have added like some waviness and connected it to some puffiness. So if I wanted like spirals in there, I should have made that section more like puffy cloud rather than hazy cloud. But I didn't really have that much. Wasn't that much planning involved, I guess is what I should say. Like I didn't think that far ahead, for sure. Hey, okay, Court. I did paint that. I am currently in the process of painting that. We are about 42 hours in. And it's acrylic paint. Thank you. My goal for this one is to have a time-lapse video of the whole process. I am glad you are blown away and stunned. That's the reaction I love. Honestly, seeing people come in and react, like people I've seen before, people that are brand new, I don't know. It's one of the fun parts about doing this is seeing how people react to what I'm doing. And most people are very sweet and encouraging, which is just nice. Fumes aren't hurting your head. Nah. Nah, it's not like spray paint. I mean, the paints have a bit of a smell to them, but they're not like overwhelming. And I have like such small amounts that it's not too much to handle. The white paint has a bit of a smell to it, but I actually find the smell kind of nice. It's almost like a sweet lavendery kind of smell with this white paint. Or something. Oh, thank you. I just kind of it's like part planning, but lots of parts improv as well. Like this was moderately planned, the lines that like all the white lines that you see on this side, I essentially planned most of them. But all the like little lines I'm adding in there is just kind of like on the fly. Just to give it more texture. So far, so good. I was really worried when I started and it looked like just a mishmash, kind of messy bundle of lines. Token Princess. Thank you for the follow. Love the name. Respect the name. Love the name. It's a great name. It's a name I won't forget. Sometimes I feel like a token princess. Just gonna throw that out there. Sometimes. A little bit. Here and there. You love my name reference too? Thank you. I love the color pink. Is one of my faves. Oh God, I feel like I'm gonna smear. Oh my God, I'm like slightly nervous. About to fall asleep, but had to pop in and say it's beautiful. Hey, yeah, go to bed. I appreciate the words of encouragement and support. It is always welcome, always appreciated. But sleep is the most important. Coming from the person with probably some of the worst sleeping habits outside of just straight up insomnia. Yes, Token. I love that. I love that three. Well, no, that's a three-parter. What streamer has that? Uncle Joe Show. I love that. Kirsty would love that. We got to get Kirsty in here to see that. That is very much Kirsty's vibe. But she is probably playing Among Us right now. Somewhere out there on the World Wide Web. Oh my God, I'm gonna smear it. Jesus Christ. Pooping. Don't worry, I knew what you meant. It's just a little slip up. I get it. It happens to the best of us. Been listening for a little while, followed because I was wondering if anyone else stresses themselves out over their own art. Yes. Literally every time I touch anything to do with art, it's what have I just gotten myself into? Am I going to be able to pull this off? I fucked it up. What am I doing? Holy shit, that was a mistake. Pretty much constant. Round the clock. It does not stop. It's all in here, but it's like a hamster wheel of doubt. I envy people who don't have that hamster wheel of doubt because I know there are artists out there that are extremely proficient and confident in their abilities, and I envy them for it. I am not one of those. That is not me. I mean, I kind of think what I'm doing is pretty, but you know, am I like 100% sold on it? Not all the time. No. This one is like, I'm kind of proud of this one though. But it comes and goes. Like when I first started tonight, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Throw it in the trash. But you know what? Somebody else might like it. Even if I feel like I fucked up, I gotta remember like, I'm looking at it with my eyes, not someone else's. And someone else could see this and just be like, that's true. It is. See, that's how I treat my art is I'm doing it for myself. Like if other people like it, great. But I'm not making it like I'm not making this piece with the intention of for a specific person to sell it to a specific person. I'm just making it. And if someone wants to buy it, great. I will, I can try a commission, but commissions kind of scare me. Metroid 2 fan game musics. You know that every time this song comes on. I love it. I love it. But yeah, I don't know. I started these line details and was like, you fucked up really bad, man. Like, it was fine. And then you went and did this. And you created a problem. But now I don't feel that way. Plus, I like my stuff to have like a certain amount of like psychedelic looking line work, because I imagine someone staring at my painting in like an altered state and it just like creeping and crawling all over the place, you know? That's what I want. If I was staring at my piece, that's what I would want. Played the fan game once, fell in love with it. Such a good way to experience Metroid 2. I've never played it. I'm not very good at Metroid, I'll be honest. Like, I like the games, but I'm terrible at them. Like, I don't think I ever beat Metroid on the NES. I'm pretty sure I haven't. Like, I've gotten a Mother Brain, maybe, like once in my life. I definitely have not beaten it. Pretty sure. Like, you get to the end of a Metroid game and you're like, well, shit, this boss is too hard. I can't beat it. I give up. Keep feeling like I'm smearing paint because I'm nervous with like this whole process right now. The amount of delicate line work involved, I'm like, remember to breathe. Little swirl, cram in there. And it kind of does take away a bit from like the color gradient, but the color gradient was never supposed to be the thing. It was just supposed to be a base treatment, so. The thing for me is always the line work. I need to stir this paint again. It's getting a little hard to spread. Should be able to get like another 30 minutes out of it before I have to add more paint. Kind of glad I kept it white though and didn't try to do darker lines. Because I would have felt more pressure to like put those in as gradients, which would have taken infinitely more time to fade in colors and shit. Definitely would have been a multiple night thing. I'm pretty sure I can get all this done in one night. Just the white paint. White looks awesome because most would do dark lines. I really enjoy white lines, like the white outlines. It's one of my favorite things to do. I don't know why. Can't really pinpoint a reason why. I guess I just like the look of it. It kind of like gives it this artificial quality that I actually kind of enjoy. All right. And that little area is done. Looks pretty good. Pretty fine to me. So I have this to fill. Gotta do all this whole side and this tiny little area down here. I don't think I'm gonna go quite as deep into this area. So it's like ground cover. Probably just do like the bare minimum there. But then again, I did the bare minimum on the areas I'm working on now and decided it was not enough, so. You know. Things change, things stay the same. Oh, I guess Token, if you're still here, I can show you some of my other pieces. I usually show new followers or people who join in raids a couple other examples of stuff that I do. I'll do it real quick. Let's see. So this is one that I did for my brother. This one actually was a commission that I did for my brother. He just wanted a city skyline. That was his only prompt for me. So, you know, kind of did a similar thing. But that one's a little more pared down for me. I didn't really go as deep into the details as I would. Like the sky to me is just way more simple. And then this one I did in 2019, so like 2 years ago. This is pretty much the most quintessential example of my work, I guess I would say. Very bright, very colorful. It's just very driven by line work, and again, white outlines are very prominent in this one too. But I'm not shy about color, and I definitely like to dump tons and tons of hours into just doing lines on top of lines on top of lines. This one is a monochromatic little piece. This one is 3 years old. So each one of these is like from a different year, basically. This one I had to crop a lot. There's actually like a lot of blue wash at the bottom of it that's kind of solid. But this one was more about like the line work that's cascading over the house that you can kind of see there. The kind of rain clouds and all the line work and like the leaves and stuff in the trees. And then this is from 2017. I always can't remember if I get the years right. The pink one is this one. The pink one is kind of like the prototype for everything that you just saw. So this is like the first one I did in this style. And I felt like this one really is what brought me to that place. Like, okay, this feels like what I want to paint and how I want to paint moving forward. So I just kind of started developing a similar technique from this point, and everything you just saw is kind of a extension of that, including what I'm working on now. So yeah, that's my stuff. There's another one I can't show you because it has nudity. It's on my Twitter page. My Twitter's the same username as my Twitch. Do I have it's the pinned tweet, but I'll just link it. I just can't show it on stream because, you know, TOS. She was actually a much older piece. I started this one in like 2012, and then I looked at it again in 2020 and was like, you know what? That's actually not done, not anywhere near done. So I went back and added like another 30 hours worth of ridiculous stuff into it. So there she is. But yeah, I can't show her. Not on stream. She's probably the most basic out of all of them. But I still like her. She was even more basic before I added a bunch of stuff to it, to be honest. So I'm kind of glad that I went back and added more, because she was maybe that was really the prototype, but not really. I have a male version of that painting too, but he's like 4 feet tall and he's even less finished. And I don't know if I'll ever finish him. He's a huge, huge project. I keep putting him on the back burner. I'm like, I'll come back to that another time. Just too much. It's like overwhelming when I think about how many hours I'm gonna have to dump into that to get it to look the way I want. To do the kind of line work I'm doing now on a painting that's 4 feet tall is like scary. You have a whole stack of back burner paintings. I mean, it's definitely a thing. Like you should always come back around to it, but the willpower is just not there, you know? Just not there. Always start new ones too. One of my goals in 2020 was to try and finish some of my back burner paintings. And she was the only one I actually ended up finishing. Because it's like most of my paintings take a minimum of like 40 hours. Like this one's already like 42. But this one I've actually feel like I've kind of gotten into the process and kind of understand where I'm going a bit better than I have in previous paintings. So it's not quite as like intimidating, I guess. I'd love to see some of your paintings here. If you want to join the Discord, I have like an art sharing channel. Or if you want to post a link in chat here, if you have anything, I'd love to see it. I like seeing people's stuff. I'll have to, if you do join the Discord, I'll just have to approve your account and give you a role before it'll let you post. I think the art channel might be hidden at first. Pretty sure most stuff is. Again, it's optional though. Oh, you have an Instagram. Okay, perfect. Even easier. Nice. Yeah, your stuff has a very graphic, kind of linear quality to it as well. Like tattoo art, but more colorful. Well, some tattoo art's pretty colorful. It reminds me, I had a friend, I lived with him back in 2012, 2013. Very similar style. Pickle Rick. The Dwarf. Puking Rainbows, that's classic. The Bud, oh my god. That's legit. Damn, you got some good stuff here. Very nice. Hey, Kylie. Speaking of another artist. Yeah, it's very cool. I see a big, like, kind of jump in quality. I guess I don't know if it's like that hibiscus one piece that you did, the hibiscus in the first Pickle Rick. It's like from the Star Wars stuff to that, it feels like I didn't click it to see what like the time difference is. So that's July 2020. What is the Star Wars bit? Oh, it's only like 2 months. Damn. The pineapple's got some really great. Yeah, I love the graphic quality. I like graphic art. It really appeals to me. A Pinky in the Brain. Oh my god, how did I skip Pinky in the Brain? Yes, I am it's a bit of a work in progress. It was a little more like down here, like not filled in as much, but I didn't like it. So I kind of have gone back and added in 3-4 times the amount of lines. Because I couldn't. You want to try more abstract painting? I am so bad at like traditional figures and like shading, like finding a light source and having a consistent light source. That's mainly why I do it. I can do like referential art to something from a photo, but it's still not like, it's difficult for me. Probably the most realistic thing I've ever pulled off is just like a pencil portrait. I did some pencil portraits of me and my brothers for my mom one year. That was like a long time ago though. I haven't tried to do something actually realistic in quite some time. But if I have a photo reference, I feel relatively confident. I just basically grid out the shape. It's the contouring and of the body and like the intricacies of like getting someone's likeness with light and like shape and size of features. If I grid it out and I basically am like, it's not tracing, but it's as close to tracing as you can get, I can do it, but it still is a bit labor intensive for me. I can't just like look at something and translate it accurately on the page. Oh, hey, Kid Knives. Off to bed. I'm glad I could get you there. Sleep tight. Thank you for redeeming the painting stream. This one was a very beneficial one. Hey, Lake. Hey. Yeah, this has been a good painting stream. I was worried at first, but now I'm like getting more relaxed. It's evening out. The anxiety is dissipating. With every additional line I add in here, I'm like exhaling inside. So different and so cool from the last time you saw it. Thank you. I think the water details added a lot to this. And when I did that, I was like, well, I definitely have to do the same amount of detail to the clouds. It just felt right to me. So here I am, taking it one little line at a time. But yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of having fun with the lines. I think I tried to plan it too much and tried to stick to the lines that I drew too much that it looked kind of stilted. So now I'm just kind of improvising and letting the lines flow between things. But once I get this done, I have land details to add in. A couple of like lines of tree lines and things to overlap some of these clouds. Just add a little bit more texture into these like darker purple shapes. And then moon details. And that's basically it. I say that's it, like it's not 15 more hours of work, but that's it. Have you ever sold your work before? I have. I sold a couple pieces in 2020 for the first time ever, and most of it was due to me painting it on Twitch, to be honest. How close do you think you are to done? Pretty close. I'm guessing probably probably like 10 to 15 hours. I think I said that at the beginning of the stream, but or like at the end of the last stream, but because I had only done half the amount of lines, it's basically like I'm adding hours to it at this point. It's weird because it's progressing forward, but I've created more work, therefore it will now take longer, you know? Like I kind of pushed the detail level to a further place, and now I gotta like see it through. I always do this though. I always do this. I'm always like, oh, just reel it in. Reel it in. It'll be fine. Reel it in a little bit. And then I don't. Then I find a way where I'm like, oh, I'm really close to finishing, but let me try this one little thing, and that one little thing becomes a million other little things. You know? It's like, oh yeah, you were almost done, and then you decided to add texture in the clouds, but the texture in the clouds didn't look good enough, so then you had to add 1,000 more lines. Yeah, most of the time, I spend a lot of time just staring at it. A good thing about streaming though is it doesn't really allow me the opportunity to do that as much. So to some degree, when I'm streaming, I have to go in with some small semblance of a plan, like what do I want to achieve, what do I want to get done. So streaming has actually helped kind of not do that as much. It's been actually very beneficial in that regard. But yeah, when I'm not streaming and I'm just like sitting here at the computer, I'll zone out and realize I've been staring at the painting for like 20 minutes without even looking at my computer or something, you know? I'll just be like tilting my head, looking, re-examining, thinking, trying to visualize. The funny thing is, like, I can sort of visualize a finished product. How close did you say you were? I'm about 10 to probably closer to 15 hours from being finished. Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's fine. 15-ish hours. Cities look great. Thank you. Yeah, I tried to keep the cities kind of not very detailed. Just did a quick little gradient, quick little outline, and said, don't touch it. Leave it alone. But yeah, like, I'll spend 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, sitting here at the computer, like, just staring at this, like, not even paying attention to, like, the YouTube video that I put on or the stream I was watching, you know? I'll just, like, completely zone out. Oh, shit. Hello. Heyo. Hey, your girl. Welcome. Hey, heyo. 16.2 hours, somewhere around there. Yeah. Heyo, welcome, and welcome, Raiders. Let's see what you were doing tonight. If y'all aren't following Heyo, you definitely should. Heyo does User occasionally, and Animal Crossing occasionally, and last time, oh, you were doing Fuser again tonight. And what was the amusement park simulator? It wasn't Planet Coaster. I already forgot. My memory is shit. But thank you for the raid. I hope your stream was well. Y'all should definitely check out Heyo if you're interested in seeing, you know, a variety of creative games or content. Heyo's great. Look at you getting off at a decent time. 2 a.m. for me is like what? Like 10 p.m. for you? Oh my god. Look at you being responsible. You're in love with the Sanrio stuff for Animal Crossing. Yeah, Alex told me that we're actually getting their furniture and stuff and the villagers, which I didn't think was going to happen. Oh, it's 9 p.m. there. Damn, I was close. I was close. So Hawaii's 5 hours off from East Coast. So Tom are you 5 hours ahead? So for you, Tom, it's like 7 a.m.? I don't know. I'm bad with time zones. I'll say that. Oh my god, I've got to move in the villagers to get their furniture. How am I going to get that stuff? Hey, Zadie. I heard responsible and I was like, couldn't be me. I could never. Now you got to figure out. I don't know how you say the sheep's name. I always said Itule, but I know that's incorrect. She was always my favorite in New Leaf. Somebody. Oh, it's 8 there. Okay, so you're 6 hours ahead. Or 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours ahead. Early bird. Actually, 8 a.m. is not that early. It is for me at this point in my life. But when I had a job, I was getting up basically by 8 a.m. every day, which 20-year-old me would have been like, no way. But it does happen. Super glad to finally catch an art stream. Thank you. Yeah, this one is looking really good. I'm really happy with it. I'm pushing the detail pretty far this go around. And so far it's a success, I think. Definitely got kind of like a Japanese vibe to it. But kind of like more sweet and I don't know, it's like I don't know how to describe it. I'm really bad at like describing the visualizations and the like blend of styles. Mostly my stuff is just inspired by like video game backgrounds and just like psychedelic art. Like I was saying earlier, I want the painting to feel like it's crawling around, like the lines are moving. The colors do it for you. Yeah, this color palette is probably, I don't know. Usually I go all over the place and it ends up being kind of a rainbow mishmash, but for this one I've limited the color palette quite a bit for me. You were thinking that looking at the water. Was there too much water? No, it's fine. Yeah, there's definitely a strong psychedelic vibe going on in this one. It's just all the busy line work. I think blue and purple was just the right call here. Like if it had been a different color combo, say like more warm tones, I don't know if it would have been quite as like it gives me like a kind of a fluid liquid kind of feeling. But if I had done this in like, you know, orange, red, pink or something, probably wouldn't have worked quite as well. I'm excited to do the land details though. That is next on the agenda. That's going to be essentially finishing touch territory. This is kind of the last big push of what's the word? It's like the mid. This is like the end of the mid stage, you know? What time is it for me? It's 2 in the morning. Which for me, I've been going to bed at like 7 a.m. I've resolved to start going to the gym at 5 a.m. when no one's there. So I'm going to end the stream probably around 3:30. Hopefully I have all the line work done by then. And then I'm going to go to the gym and like do some light workout stuff while no one's there at 5 a.m. And then I'm going to come home and pass out. Unfortunately, if it were up to me and the gym was 24 hours, like it, you know, usually it used to be 24 hours, I would go at like 2 or 3 in the morning when absolutely no one's going to be there. But they stopped being 24 hours because of the pandemic, so it kind of messes things up a little bit, but what can you do? I basically just throw on a playlist or watch TV show or throw on a stream and just go into a zone. No big deal. Should stream it again tomorrow. Bet you could finish this in. So I have someone redeemed another painting stream. I'm doing my next painting stream on Sunday. But Friday nights for me are, oh, I think I just did a droplet on here somewhere. It should be fine. It's just water. Friday nights I usually do Among Us. This Saturday, I've been getting a lot of painting stream redemptions for the weekends. But I do Among Us pretty much consistently on Friday nights because I have a group that I play with pretty much regularly. I always mess that word up. And then Saturday nights, I kind of do whatever comes to me. But I got invited to do Mario Kart with a group of people. I'm going to do that this Saturday. And see how good I am or how terrible I am. Probably more likely terrible. But I'll definitely be doing another painting stream on Sunday. For sure. Gonna run and grab a plate of food. Sounds good. Enjoy. Yeah, I'll be on at least another hour, probably. Because the thing is with some of these details and stuff, it's like, if I try to do it in multiple sittings, sometimes the style of what I'm doing looks different. So if I can get it done kind of in one session, there's like a better consistency to the work. Yeah, it's just, you can relate to that hard. Yeah, it's just like things will, you know, you like kind of lose your mojo, you lose your place a little bit. Or kind of forget, you know, I might forget how I shaded a certain area, and if I come back and try to replicate that days later, then it may not translate correctly or something. All right, that little puff of cloud looks good. Yeah, this is definitely closer to what I envisioned in my mind as far as the detail work in the clouds. Making a lot more sense to me. Now I'm glad that I pushed it this far. All right. Okay. Both sides look about even, I'd say. This one could maybe use a little bit more kind of bits. All right, I'm not going to overdo it there. I think it's fine. Time to do this very scattered section, which shouldn't take that long. I'm going to give myself a smidge more paint. Just a little bit more. Then a little bit more ink. So I use just Liquitex white acrylic is what I'm using, a heavy body, titanium white. White paint, the most basic of all paints, but honestly, I use way more white paint than anything in all of my paintings. Because I mix white with like everything. And instead of thinning it out with water, I usually just use a little bit of acrylic ink. In this case, it's just some Liquitex white acrylic ink. That way it doesn't lose its opacity too much. But I can also thin it out so it's easier to apply in kind of a clean, slick fashion. So that's the way I like. So I mean, I could just get soft body paints or whatever, you know, paints that aren't quite as thick and heavy. But I kind of like the ability to have some texture in the brush strokes as well. So I usually will opt to buy heavy body and then thin it out a little bit. Okay. That should push me through the rest of the night. All right, we're doing the basic lines first. Well, these are the starter lines. Y'all can't see it, but I did. The only thing I've done off stream is I actually sketched a lot of these lines that I'm doing right now, partially with pencil. Like I didn't go full out. I just kind of did some indicators for like swirls and distances from the outer outline. So I could just have some guidelines to go with without having to draw it on stream. Because then if I drew it on stream, it would just be like 2 hours of me. Like you wouldn't see anything. You'd see a pencil in my hand moving, but you wouldn't see what I'm actually adding to the piece. So I just did that off stream. Didn't seem relevant to like do. It was necessary, but not necessarily to do on stream. Way more gratifying. And that's another thing with like streaming is like it's kept me doing it more regularly than maybe I would do it off stream. But like the flip side of that is sometimes I want to do art, but I'm not streaming. And I'm like, well, should I do it? The answer is I should just do it. Not relegate all of my art time to being streamed. But I'm not much of a sketcher. Like, I'll sketch a painting idea, but I'm not like someone who just sketches constantly. Which is kind of strange. I feel like that's not a typical thing for a lot of artists. Like I'll sketch the painting idea and I'll sketch on the painting, but just like pulling out my sketchbook and with an idea, not like a very regular thing for me. If an idea hits me, I'll just like grab a piece of paper and get it out real quick, but I don't get hit with a lot of ideas all the time. Just got to do what's comfortable. Yeah, definitely true. And, you know, a lot of people's processes are just different. Mine just doesn't involve a lot of starting work. Like I basically just have the idea, I sketch the idea, then I put the idea on the painting and then paint it. But I don't have like 50 sketch ideas, you know. Like I'm a very tunnel vision kind of person too. Once I start a piece, it's very hard for me to like want to do anything else until I finish that. You wish I had that kind of focus. I was less like that when I was younger. Like I was doing a lot of sketching in like my early 20s fresh out of college and stuff. But as I've gotten older, it's just like comes and goes in waves. Honestly, like my creativity it has three parts. There's like the inspiration phase, which is a nice way of saying like my lazy phase where I'm just like taking in information but not necessarily producing work. Then I have like my video game phase where I still do a lot of creative stuff in video games, but it's I'm more focused on like doing video game stuff. Like last year I was so much more focused. I guess it was late 2019. I was much more focused in 2019 on like making Mario Maker levels or whatever, you know? And then I'll have like a straight up just like painting art phase where I just want to like do visual art and painting. And a lot of like early 2020, mid 2020 was video games as well because Animal Crossing was out. And Animal Crossing is my jam. Cannot get enough. Speaking of Mario, yeah, this just switched to Nintendo. The playlist is on YouTube. It's called No Thoughts, Empty Head Nintendo Music. So it's kind of like spacey Nintendo stuff. I think this might be, is this Me Maker music? Oh, it's the Me, okay, it is Me channel for the Wii. Right? This little area is a done deal. Well, almost a done deal. Okay, yeah. Getting there. This area is a little bit cluttered. There's like buildings sticking out of the fog. Just destined to look a little messier over here, I guess. A lot of these areas really should not take very long, though. They're so tiny. Definitely like gaining a better understanding of how to do this in the future from this piece. So this almost feels like the detail I'm doing right now. It's like a bit of a test run. Like the next time I attempt this, it's probably gonna look much more close to what I like envisioned in my head. In my head, it's Wind Waker explosion wind lines. But in some of the execution, it didn't quite get there. Like it wasn't what's the word? Like consistent enough. Like it wasn't, there's like a pattern to it or a way it develops. That's like follows a certain, I don't know how to describe it. I'm really terrible at describing visual things like that. But like there's a consistency to making something look like graphic water, you know? That maybe I didn't necessarily achieve, but it kind of is like on its way there. All right, that little area is done. Cool. Moving on. Oh, thank you, Token. I don't know. I wish I knew how to describe what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is going much faster down here. This will probably be a pretty interesting section to watch on the time-lapse video. It'll look like I did so much work in such a short amount of time. So you're trying to see... I'm trying to lose weight. Yeah, I'm trying to lose weight. I'm gonna go in and do some light cardio. I'm still at the point where I have to walk for about half of it because I'm just so out of shape. I've lost like a lot of weight in the past before, so I know I'm capable of doing it. The hardest part's like me and my husband are a bit of like fast food junkies. So the hardest part's gonna be like not saying yes when my husband wants Popeyes. You know? That's the hardest part. If I can get into the cardio part, the cardio's easy. I just go in, I do my thing for an hour and I'm like out of there, I'm done. It's the changing the diet and sticking to it that always proves to be the biggest issue. Like, I know I can do it. Another thing too is like I currently have braces, so my diet's really kind of been affected by that. Like, one of the reasons I kind of stopped eating a lot of the foods that I was eating when had lost all the weight is because I got braces and I couldn't eat like trail mix, or if I wanted a sweet, I couldn't just eat like a quick little bag of gummies, or I can't like bite into a raw vegetable or fruit, right? So like that kind of also affected my ability to maintain the diet that I was on. As long as you're healthy, enjoy life, take it slow. Exactly. Like, I'm not really in that much of a rush this time. Previous times that I lost weight, I kind of went like to a point where it was unsustainable. Like, I lost 40 pounds in like 4 months by basically cutting out all sugar, all carbs, and doing like an absurd amount of cardio every day and only taking off like maybe 1 day a week. But I don't think I'm going to push myself that hard this time. I'm also a couple years older now, so I can't be that brutal to my body, first of all. And I just also, I have to go to like the gym. I have to go to a public place to do it. So the last times that I've lost weight, I was able to do it at home because I had like a home treadmill. But since we're in a tiny little 1-bedroom apartment, it's like, can't really do that. So I can't. And plus with the whole pandemic, it's like, you know, I can only do so much a day, basically. So there's not really a point in like stressing myself out and trying to hit some kind of unrealistic diet or goal that I can't necessarily do right now. So, but yeah, it's important to feel comfortable in your body. That's true. I've just been kind of like slowly gaining weight over the course of the pandemic. And it's not totally unhealthy yet, but my habits are terrible. And the best thing I can do is just try to fix it now before I let it get to an even harder point. Right, it's like harder to fix. And both my parents are vaccinated now, so like I don't have to worry about going around them and getting them sick because they're vaccinated. So that was one of the things too, is like my family wasn't vaccinated, so I couldn't like be around them. But I've been living an incredibly sedentary lifestyle since September. Honestly, it was more like February of last year's, kind of like right before the pandemic. I was kind of falling out of the gym. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, well, it's just so easy to just say, not today, not today. Can't do it today. You literally can't go to the gym, so. But I'm unemployed and I have all this free time. My sleep schedule and my current life schedule's like at a point where I can go to the gym at 5 a.m. at the end of my day and still do it, so I should just try it. There's nobody there, so it's like the safest time to go. There's like a couple people there, like older folks. Which means most of them are probably vaccinated. So. Wearing a mask on the treadmill, though. It ain't fun. Gained 10 since you're with your partner. He's a feeder and wants to see me big. I think my husband wants to see me big too. He just loves fast food. I love fast food too, so it's like hard to say no to something I want to eat all the time. More cushion for the pushing, exactly. I mean, he supports me either way. The thing is, like, I'm not going to force him to change his habits and his diet because I want to lose weight. So basically, I just have to feed myself and be responsible for my own meals and stuff, which I'm fine with. You know, I've done it before. But it is nice when you don't have to pay for the food. Oh my god, if he watched this, he would kill me. He knows already, though. Our arrangement is basically like I pay the household bills, he pays for the food. And trust me, as two grown adult men, we eat a lot of food over here. Even when I'm trying not to, I still do. So it's a lot of damn food. The unhealthier, the better. You cycle a lot. Should do cycling. I kind of enjoy jogging. I know it's probably not like sustainable forever, but I do enjoy it. Once I get into it, there's like an adjustment period where it's literal hell. But at some point I start enjoying it. It's a nice agreement, right? I pay like electric, I pay water, pay for the internet, and he buys the food. I mean, just think of two grown men who want to eat junk food all the time, how expensive that is. It's expensive. You like running too. So honestly, I'm coming out on top of this deal. But when I want to eat healthier, then I kind of have to like be more responsible for my own food. Because I'm not going to force him to buy a whole other grocery list for me. Plus, my tastes are so erratic sometimes with food. Like when I go grocery shopping for myself, it's just like different stuff. It's not like I'm buying the same grocery list every week. Kind of flighty that way. Can't be pinned down. And then I'll just splurge when he wants to cook a meal or something, then, you know. Or if he wants to get us some takeout, I can get a healthier option and still partake. Gotta feed your baby. It's true. We're also the type of couple that's like, we'll go to the grocery store, we'll spend $150, and it's like all packaged foods and like easy to eat stuff, and we eat it all within like 3 or 4 days, and then they're like, well, guess we're going to get some food. You know? We're very much that. No matter how hard we try. Like, you go to the grocery store every few days. I just don't like going to the grocery store very much. It always ends up so much more expensive than you want it to be. Without fail. Produce is expensive. I think that's why it's always so expensive for me, because I like to get a lot of like fruits, which they don't, you can't just buy a bunch of fruit at once. You can't go to the store and buy like so much produce and have it rot and go bad. But I buy enough to where I'm like, try to be good for at least a whole week and a half, and then it's just expensive. Every 2 to 3 days you go. I was better about it too when I had a job, because I would just like run into the grocery store before I clocked in or whatever, grab something for lunch for the day, and grab like some snacks that I could eat on for the next day or two, and then I would just do that however many days I worked that week. But since I'm hardly going out, the motivation is just not there. But to get the best result out of the grocery store, you basically have to go like every 2 to 3 days. Because you're always picking up something to like cook that night or munch on. Or there's like a good sale. And it keeps you from spending too much. It just, if you go more often, you're not spending as much. Because you know you're going to be back in 2 days. So if you're like, should I get that or should I wait? You're more willing to wait because you're just going to come back later. At least that's my internal thought process. Probably doesn't apply to everyone, but I'm sure it doesn't. But to me, it makes total sense. All right, I gotta stir this paint. I'm almost done. Got this little corner cloud section, the bottom left corner. And I'll probably wrap it up there. It's almost 3 a.m. for me, so this is like pretty decent timing. I'm just glad my camera didn't crash. You've made huge progress. I know, it feels great. I was honestly like scared I wouldn't do that much tonight with the line work. I thought just doing the basic line work I had would have taken me the whole time, but we're like 3 hours and I've done like quadruple the amount of line work that I had originally planned to do. So the next painting stream is probably going to be doing little land details. I don't know if y'all are on like a computer, but if you zoom in this little area here, the tip of my paintbrush, there's like a zigzag. So I'm going to do a bunch of little zigzags scattered around to give the land some texture. Little tree lines, small hills, things like that. Just so it's not flat color. That is the next plan. And then once I do that, maybe a little bit more texture in like the dark parts of the sky. I might add like some more spacey details and then moon details. And this painting is essentially done. So maybe 2 to 3 more sessions. Probably what it'll shape out to be. There's about 9 more hours, so yeah, I think I'm pretty much on track with my prediction. I don't know. I usually move a little slowly though, so 9 hours planned is more like 15 hours unplanned, you know? Plus, I'm probably going to spend a whole stream doing what I call finishes, just like cleanups and odds and ends and stuff. Like going over it with a fine tooth comb, seeing if there's like any inconsistencies or spots I might have missed or little things like that. Yeah, 16.1. What kind of job was I doing before? I worked in a pottery painting studio. It was like one of those places people would take their kids for a birthday party, or you'd schedule a night out to paint with friends or whatever. And then we would glaze and fire the item and then call people to pick it up when it's ready. So it was like a blend of service, retail, and fine art. But then the pandemic hit. And they were not taking proper safety precautions, putting me at risk, and I just kind of got fed up with it. And my attitude got so bad, they just said, "You're fired," basically. I said, okay. But the business had gone down like a lot because of COVID, you know? Nobody's going out and painting or taking their kids to a 20-kid birthday party on a Saturday or whatever. So things were, I think they were probably planning on getting rid of, because I was an assistant manager, there was 2 of us, so they were probably planning on getting rid of one of us no matter what. And I just made it easier because I started like sticking up for myself and being like, that's not safe. Oh, I'm not teaching that camp. That kid was in a camp where someone tested positive, so no, I won't do it. And I just made it easy for them to say, okay, well, thanks. After having been there for 5 years with that owner, never calling out a single day. So now I'm very much like, you do you. My next job. I don't feel like going in, my ass ain't going in. Because it doesn't get you shit. Especially in retail. Which is basically, I mean, it was basically a retail job. But it was like waiting tables because I'd have to give like on the fly art instruction. You know? Or run a kid's birthday party, help them cut the cake, time the event, give instruction to the kids, clean up after them. And then I'd have to like fire, glaze each individual piece and fire it in the kiln. So it was a lot, honestly. The employees that work in those places do a shit ton of work, and the pay sucks. For the amount of work it is, the pay is shit. Yeah, I was there for 5 years. Well, actually, I was there for 2 more years before it changed ownership. And then I was there for 5 years with the new owner, and I helped like revamp the whole place. I created like a training manual. I created all kinds of new processes to like make things run more efficiently. They were like, I did a shit ton of work. And then because of COVID and because I started saying, no, I don't want to do that, they just cut me loose. Such is life. Can't do anything about it either. So honestly though, they kind of did me a favor. I'll find something else that's better or as good as that, so I'm not pressed about that, especially at this point. This essentially all this time I've had off because of COVID has been like, I know a lot of people are like feel cooped up, like they can't do anything and this and that, but I've always been somebody who stays home a lot. I don't really go out and do a bunch of stuff, so it hasn't like affected the structure of my life too much. And I've been getting unemployment, like, because Twitch is just like thing. I definitely don't make enough money to like do anything with this, so this is like basically a hobby just to keep some semblance of structure to my life. Is why I tell people things are free here, don't sub, because I don't really need the money right now. But yeah, so hopefully I don't ever have to work retail again. That's the plan, but things don't always work out as they're planned. So if I have to work retail, of course I will. You can make more money here if you did more art streams over game streams. Maybe. If people would be actually willing to buy it. My plan is in 2021, I do want to make like a print store where I have like smaller scale prints of all the paintings that I showed earlier. So people can buy either the original artwork for a larger sum, or you can buy like a small print, that you could frame, window mat and frame or something, and have that as like a thing. But I don't know. I like keeping Twitch as like this casual thing. I don't really want to like rely on it as an income stream. Maybe one day I'll get there, but I'm in no rush to like try to monetize myself. Like, if people like what they see and they want to hang out and they want to chat and they want to buy my stuff, great. If they just want to chat and play games with me, it's also great, One day it might happen. I mean, I gained a lot of momentum in 2020. It's kind of slow moving, but it's fine, It's not like I'm out here with like professional production quality and shit. I'm just like a guy painting between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. when my husband's in bed. Like, whatever. Or I'm playing Animal Crossing, you know? So I just treat it as like a, not even a side hustle. I don't even like using that term. It's just like my hobby time, because this is what I would be doing anyway, but instead I'm just doing it with a camera on and people to talk to. So whatever, you know? Just wanted to say that. Make prints of your work and set up a web shop. I'm going to. I have to do, like, I need like some editing software to edit out like the glare in the pictures I take and just kind of like, you know, do some touch-ups and things like that. Make them like print quality photographs, you know? And kind of like pop the color, you know? I want them to like to be good. So, but unfortunately the newest versions of OS X, you can't run Photoshop. And I haven't really, I'm not, you know, so I haven't edited the photos yet. And I'd have to like edit the photos, order the prints, and do that a bunch of times until I find like the perfect file and the perfect printing service. So I'd have like a good proof, so I know that every time I send a print out like that, it's gonna look good. I could go to a local place too, but I don't know how much it would be to like have them assist me in that process. Probably would not be cheap, so it'd be a pretty big initial investment. Aw, thanks, Tom. Yeah, and the reason I haven't really looked into the prints is because I don't have like a steady source of income that's like coming in. I don't have a job. I mean, I have the UI, but that's like paying the bills. It's not like, and that's why I haven't been buying games and stuff for the stream, and so I just do what I can do. And what I can do is use the paint that I have, the materials that I have, to keep painting whatever comes to mind. So yeah, but that is on my 2021 goal list, is to have a print shop set up, because I have had people who've told me they're interested, and it would be a good thing to just have, you know, as an option. Even if it's only like a thing here or a thing there, it's still like a good thing to point people towards if they're actually like interested in my work in that capacity. But yeah, I finished for the night. That is it for me tonight. I finished my line work. I feel good about it. How much would you sell? How much would this one sell for? It's hard to say right now, but I would guess probably around 700 to 750. You know, just because I'm doing it for myself, and if somebody really wants it, I would probably. But again, that's like, I'd have to finish it and then like, but yeah, that's probably like that's probably close to what it would be. Something like that. But that's it for me. I'm calling it there. Let's see who's around to raid. Who is twitching tonight? Who's doing the Twitch stuff? Should I do a random art stream? I haven't done a random art stream in forever. Hope you have a great workout. Thanks. Tomorrow night I'm doing Among Us, and our group is a little rowdy with Among Us. We're a little feisty. Probably doing the sheriff mod, which is like a modded version. Saturday night, Mario Kart. And Sunday night is painting again. So I'll be picking up where I left off on this piece, which means doing my little texture in the ground, pushing that detail a little bit more. And if I finish that quickly, which could go either way, then I will start working on the details in the moon and finishing touches. So yeah, this one's almost done. I'm excited. But thanks for hanging out, y'all. If you join in on the raid, I just say spam some heart emotes for a little bit. Any heart emote works. They don't have to be mine. Virtual hugs and less than 3s are always free. If you gotta run, head out. No worries. Always such a nice stream to wake up to. Thank you. Who's around? Let's see. Good night, Heyo. And Token and Tom. Alex, if you're still lurking out there, good night. Been a pleasure. Lake, Kylie, Kid Knives, thank you again for redeeming the art stream in the first place and keeping me productive. Okay Court, Jay Cena I think was here for a little bit. And to anyone out there who is lurking, thank you as always. Lurkers unite. Lurkers are important. Who is doing stuff? Oh my god, Twitch is running like shit for me right now. I think I just want to do random art. Let's see if there's anyone doing like painting. Just like traditional painting. Got a Bob Ross follow along. Sand mandala. Some sketching. Is there a tag for painting? Painting. Oh, that's a cute dog portrait. Let's see, I'm gonna take myself down. I'm gonna look around for a sec. There's not a lot of painting streams on right now. Mostly it's digital stuff. What is this person up to? He's AFK. All right. Let's see what this person's up to. This portrait of this dog is insanely good. All right, I'm gonna send y'all over to this person, Freakmeister1. He specializes in pet portraiture. Name is Mitch, an artist specializing in pet portraiture. Commission information can be found at his website. And his portraits are legit. They're really good. They are beautiful. He's got a knack. My god, the texture on this dog's fur is killer. So good. So check him out. I guess if you're around, give him some love. Yeah, he's really good. He's got photorealism down. It looks amazing. Oh my god, the texture on the fur is like blowing me away. I wish I was that good. Let's just say that. Anyway, I'm gonna send y'all over there. Enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your day tomorrow. And I will be back tomorrow night with Among Us. Hope y'all have a good one. Get some heart emotes ready to go. Mwah. Good night and sleep tight.